Good afternoon, madam. Today, me and my friend Salwan, today we are going to do our presentation on our topic Influence of Poverty on Education.
The three resources we'll be using for our presentation is first the poem, second the educational information pack, and the last one is the posters. And we have chose these three resources just because students they have three different learning abilities, and the first learning ability is affective, second is psychomotor, and the last one is cognitive. With regards to these three learning abilities, we have chose our three resources, and before we start to go deep in our topic, first thing to introduce this topic, I'll tell a small story regarding how one of my friend who used to school with me in one of the primary school, how he tackled the topic poverty, how he overcame with his life. So when I was in class 6, my friend, he hardly ever comes to school, and he was one of the toppers in class 6. He scored highest mark for our school, but class 7, half of the time he was missing the classes. So one day my class teacher, after class, she went to the students home, and finally she came up with this, that the student was unable to come to the class. It was just because the father was not able to afford it, and it was just because the father was a seasonal worker in one of the company in back in my village, and the next day teacher came and talked to the other staffs regarding these students, and then all the staff they get together just to help the student, and they were able to make him complete his primary education. And from primary education, when he went to secondary school, they wrote one letter to the community, and the community members helped him. And today that same person, my friend, he is a doctor in Suva. So the reason I'm telling you this story is just that to deal with this topic poverty, the best way is education. If you are educated, you will be able to tackle your problems in life. So the first resource is poem. Parinita gonna highlight on our first resource.
It is based on poverty. Poverty is uncommitted crime, which people have a bear of most of the time. Sitting under a tree of lime, thinking why they are restricted to chime, why they don't have right to live their life, why they are made to sit on edge of the knife, why they can't spend a comforting life. Poverty is uncommitted crime. And the second resource that we have prepared is the educational information pack, which consists of flashcards, poster, poverty cycle, and a picture study. We have a picture study, and as we can see that there are poor people who are sitting on the streets for begging money, and a rich person is going across the street and he is wondering whether to give money or not to these poor people. The second one is on poverty cycle. As we can see that a poor child, if the child is poor, he'll have poor education. Due to poor education, there will be no jobs, and poor income will be also, and he will also have poor families, and the cycle will continue. The other educational pack was on education. We have flashcards, and under education we have employment, good health, improves food security, reduce malnutrition, creates source of education. Education is the key to success. And the other flashcards is on poverty. Poverty, begging, unemployment, ignorance, discrimination, hunger, and poor health. If people are poor, they will have poor health and unemployment, and due to this, they will go across various challenges and struggles in their life.
The third resource is the chart here. The chart simply defines the term poverty. Poverty is a condition in which a person basic needs are not met. Basic needs, when I say basic needs, I mean the shelter, the food, and all the basic needs. He is not able to wear good clothes, all this comes under poverty. And what are the causes of poverty? When I say causes of poverty, how a person becomes deals with this word poverty. It's just because of unemployment. That means when a person is unemployment, he or she has to tackle with this word poverty. Lack of education. If you lack in education, if you are if you not uneducated, that means you will deal with poverty. Climate change. Climate change is also causes of poverty, and poor health care. What are the effects of poverty? Food insecurity, hunger, malnutrition, and illness. And the solutions, how can you deal with poverty? To increase access to education. That means you have to have a proper education just to deal with this word poverty. Improve food security. Try to have your own small garden for the food. And end conflict, equality for all. This is our chart for the third resource for the chart. We also have motivational activity as a snake and ladder. You can see here. Start here, came down begging, crime begging. This will be used as our motivational activity, the snake and ladder. And with the help of the three resources, we also have prepared three different activities. Activity 1 is cognitive for the students, cognitive student. It's about picture study. Study the picture and complete the table. In this picture, you can see a beggar begging and a police officer there. So our questions are: what do you see? What the students see in the picture? They write here. What do you think? What the students think about this picture? They put their thinking here. What do they feel? How do they feel about the beggar, the policeman? They've put their feelings here. What can you do? What the students can do? They'll put in the table here. And what makes you wonder that? Activity 2 is affective domain. This activity 2 deals with the direct questions. What do you understand by the term poverty? The students, after going through all this discussion, the students will come up what they understand about the term poverty. What kind of problems do poor people have? Why are people hungry? What do you feel sorry for the people who live on the street? Are people who live on the street necessarily lazy? And the last activity is for the psychomotor. And for psychomotor, the activity is to draw an image of poverty and write something about it. The students will draw an image of poverty and they write something about it. Thank you.
And lastly, we have a poster presentation which is based on a rich person and a poor person. This man is rich because he is educated, and as you can, we have flips here. Education is the most powerful weapon which we can use to change the world, by Nelson Mandela. And he is wondering, should I fulfill my wants or should I help the needy? Some of the rich and is educated is better standard of living, good health, able to meet the basic needs of the families, and better job opportunities. And for a poor person, he is wondering, should I beg or should I work for myself? He is also thinking, is it enough for today? After begging, he is thinking, is it enough for today? And some of the causes of poverty are lack of education, unemployment, and poor health. Is begging is my habit or I am helpless? The poor person is asking for himself. And a hungry stomach and an empty pocket and a broken heart can teach the best lessons of life. And yes, obviously, if every steps can change your day, because if you walk towards your goal, then you can change your day. And poverty is not created by God, it is created by you and me when we don't share what we have. And it was said by Mother Teresa. To conclude this way our resources that we have prepared on the topic poverty, and yes, due to COVID-19 pandemic, there are people who are found begging on the streets because they don't have enough money to support their family, to educate their children, and they are found unemployed. And to overcome this issue, people should do backyard gardening, and they should find means and ways to overcome this issue. And we are also facing some of the difficulties due to this COVID-19 pandemic, such as we don't have enough fund to access our Moodle because we don't have data. And thank you very much.